Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into something truly incredible today. It's a piece of source material simply titled April 26, 2026. Now, when you first read this thing, it's wild. It feels like a dizzying, highly poetic stream of consciousness, just beautifully chaotic, and absolutely overflowing with passion. I am so pumped to unpack this with you all because we aren't just looking at a standard diary entry or some run-of-the-mill love poem. No way. This is a massive, sprawling journey. We literally travel from the absolute depths of personal heartbreak straight into the soaring heights of national pride. To really grasp the sheer scale of what we're dealing with here, just look at this quote. The text kicks off with the phrase, "Hanggang ngayon ikaw pa rin," which translates to, "Until now, it's still you." A classic heartbroken sentiment, right? But then, through this absolute whirlwind of raw emotion, it somehow lands on Isang bansang diwa minimiti ang Historia Independence Day, a nation's spirit longing for the history of Independence Day. I mean, wow. You kind of have to ask yourself, how on earth does a desperate, crying plea for a lost love suddenly transform into the sweeping, epic tribute to Philippine independence? It's a massive tonal whiplash, truly a 180 turn, but it's brilliant. So let's dive right into how this happens.
Section 1. The Lingering Echoes of Love.
Okay, so before we get into the really grand macro themes, the nations, the flags, the history, we need to ground ourselves in the intimate, internal space where this whole thing actually kicks off. The phrase anchoring the entire beginning of the text is super simple. Hanggang ngayon ikaw pa rin, or until now it's still you. Notice how this works inside a stream of consciousness format. It's all about repetition. This looping phrase is literally the emotional anchor for the speaker. It exposes this incredibly raw vulnerability, a fierce, gripping attachment that just flat out refuses to fade away, no matter how much time has passed. It's like the speaker is totally stuck in this relentless loop of memory. And building right off of that, we start to see a very clear cycle of loss. The speaker openly acknowledges their wounds, the sugat, but at the exact same time, they are fiercely holding on to this desperate, honestly almost impossible hope of seeing this person again, of muling makita ka. I've got to say, I really admire the raw honesty here. The speaker isn't trying to hide their pain, and they certainly aren't pretending to be okay. They freely admit, hey, I'm hurt. Yet they keep pledging this unwavering, deeply personal devotion. It's a beautifully painful paradox, and honestly, it's something a lot of us can probably relate to.
Section 2. Nature and the Muse.
But here's the thing. The speaker doesn't just sit there, wallowing in that pain forever. Instead, they take all that intense, swirling emotional energy and channel it outward toward a mysterious figure they call the Señora. And what's fascinating is how they describe her. They don't give us physical traits, no mention of hair or eye color. Instead, they rely on these really foundational natural elements. They call her the ubas ng lupa, the grapes of the earth, the pabango ng bahay, the perfume of the house, and mga rosas, the roses. By equating this señora with the earth, the home, and the pure beauty of nature, the speaker is completely elevating her. She's no longer just a regular human being. She's transformed into a fundamental, life-giving force in their universe.
And this whole process of elevation, it culminates in an absolutely incredible line. Pag-ibig na maging may lakas ng araw. Love that has the strength of the sun. Now this is absolutely crucial. Think about what's happening here. This highly personal love is suddenly taking on a cosmic, overwhelming power. It isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling in your chest anymore. It is literally a celestial force. It's the kind of power that gives life, sure, but it can also blind you. It can burn you. The speaker is describing a love so massive, it could basically sustain an entire solar system.
So, that brings us to a really massive turning point in the text. We have to hit pause for a second and ask, anong kinalaman ng pag-ibig sa kasaysayan? What does love have to do with history? Just let that simmer for a second. Up until now, we've been swimming in the deep, turbulent waters of personal heartbreak and intense romantic devotion. But right here, the text is prepping us for a sudden, dramatic, thematic pivot. The entire scope of the narrative is about to blow wide open. We are looking at a monumental leap right here. On one side, we have that romantic devotion we just talked about, pag-ibig na maging malakas ng araw, love with the strength of the sun. But then, bam, the text hits us with this profound sense of patriotic duty, alay sa mga naghirap na kultura, an offering to the cultures that suffered. It is an absolutely incredible pivot from this hyper-personal passion to a grand, sweeping nationalistic fervor. What's so cool is that the intense, burning energy of the speaker, that stays exactly the same. But the target of all that intense energy has completely shifted.
Section 3. The Patriotic Shift.
So, We are zooming all the way out now. Suddenly, this absolute rush of nationalistic imagery just floods the second half of the text. It's rapid fire. We're hit with references to the Pilipinon Tao sa Buhay, the Filipino people in life. We see offerings made to the flag, the powerful concept of Kalayaan, or freedom, mentions of the first president, and explicitly Independence Day. It is just fascinating to watch the speaker's profound reverence for the Republic's history completely burst through the seams of the text. It totally transforms the entire landscape of their thoughts, morphing from a personal romance right into resounding national pride.
And right in the middle of this, we find the core philosophy driving this dramatic shift. Isang bansa, ang pagdiriwang ay pagyamaning kultura. One nation, the celebration is enriching culture. So the crucial takeaway here is that for our speaker, acknowledging independence is not just about, checking off a historical date on a calendar. No, it is intrinsically, vitally tied to actively celebrating and enriching their living culture. To them, truly loving the country means actively keeping its heritage alive.
Section 4. The Ultimate Vow.
Okay, so the million-dollar question is, how does one person reconcile this? How do you take that intense, burning romantic longing from the very beginning and mix it with the heavy, profound patriotic duty we just looked at? How do these two totally different worlds collide? Well, the answer actually lies in a really critical cultural concept, the panata. A panata is a solemn vow. It's a pledge or an oath, and it usually carries immense personal, cultural, or spiritual weight. You see, the speaker's massive capacity for love, that sun-strength love, it doesn't just evaporate when the topic changes. Instead, it gets beautifully channeled into this unbreakable sacred promise.
Aking natuto sa panata, which means what I learned from the vow. This concept of the panata becomes the ultimate anchor for this entire chaotic stream of consciousness text. It's the glue. It completely fuses the unending love that was originally meant for the señora with a lifelong, unyielding dedication to the nation. The vow is the bridge, plain and simple. It binds the micro and the macro together in absolute perfect harmony.
So to bring it all together, what this text really proves is that the micro, meaning the deeply personal heart, the puso, filled with all its grief and longing, and the macro, the national wika and kasaysayan, the language and history, they aren't actually at odds with one another. They aren't fighting for space. They seamlessly evolve. That deeply personal individual love actually serves as the fuel for a much grander, enduring nationalistic devotion.
I want to leave you all with a final, slightly provocative thought to chew on. Have you ever felt a devotion so incredibly strong that it literally blurs the line between personal love and a sense of duty to your own history? It's a wild thing to consider. The immense, overlapping power of personal and patriotic devotion that we've explored today really shows us just how boundless the human heart can truly be. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, keep exploring the depths of history, and I'll see you next time.